Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to share what I bought in Portugal. For me, the best type of souvenirs are the ones that you can wear and use. When I travel to Europe, I always try to make a point of trying to discover some local brands that I've never heard of, but also visiting some of my favorite brands from back when I used to live in Europe. Brands like Pata from Amsterdam, Bin by Lola and Desigual from Spain. Those are some of the few to name. I did visit those stores, but I didn't get anything from there. But I do have some exciting purchases that I wanted to share, so let's get started. First, let's talk about traditional Portuguese jewelry. It's one of those things that come up if you Google, Portuguese souvenir or things that are made in Portugal. And as you walk around Portugal, you see tons of jewelry shops, especially in the touristy areas. In my research, there are really two types of jewelry that you can get in Portugal. There's the filigree jewelry, which is this like intricate gold detail that looks stunning, beautiful, but not my style. And then there's this like enamel flower that is typically navy with white flower or reversed. I did some research before I went to Portugal on some reputable jewelry brands that I could purchase from because when it comes to jewelry, like the material matters, the construction matters. And what I did notice when I was, especially in Porto, I went to several jewelry shops and the prices were all reasonable, but the items were not that well made. And you could just tell that they were like mass manufactured. So I intentionally sought out this one particular store that I found in Lisbon. They had great online reviews, amazing designs. They were in the city center, but they're kind of easy to miss. So I wanted to call them out especially because it's a small shop, but really well constructed jewelry. And they have jewelry all the way from sterling silver to gold filled, which is what I bought, all the way to, I think it's called like 19.2K gold, which is a level of gold that you don't really see elsewhere. It's very Portuguese. The purchase that I made was this bracelet. I knew I wanted this floral design, and I specifically went to the store because I had seen that they have different colors than the traditional one. And I was particularly drawn to this green background and red flower. I just like that it kept the essence of traditional Portuguese jewelry design with a little bit of twist with color. And I thought this design looked really nice with the pearls, and this was 55 euros, which I thought was pretty reasonable. In the tourist shops that I mentioned previously, they did have more affordable versions of this bracelet, but you could just tell that, the hinges weren't right, like pearls weren't like uneven like this one, which is something that I really liked. And they were slightly cheaper, but ultimately I decided to go for a slightly higher quality and pay a little bit more. So I highly recommend checking out that shop. They also deliver internationally, but I just love that I bought it in their brick and mortar store while I was on the trip because it's just so sentimental now. Another thing that I do when I go to like shopping friendly destinations like Europe is I research in English as well as Korean. Because one thing I've noticed is that the US demographic might look for something different than the Korean demographic. And overall, the Korean demographic have a lot more interest in bringing back gifts or cosmetics than the US influencers. So the thing that I learned about was this brand called Kuto. And something you'll notice in Portugal, either in Lisbon or Porto, is that there are some pharmacies that are really old school. They have wooden interior. The display of their products looks really old school and nostalgic. And one of the brands that I kept seeing was this, which is also a brand that I discovered through Korean YouTube influencer. And they're mostly known for their toothpaste, but really I think they're famous because of their packaging. Their packaging, it's so clean and aesthetic. And I think this would honestly make a great gift if you were interested in that. I just bought this for myself. This is the toothpaste, which is what they're mostly known for, but they also have the hand cream. What I thought was really delightful is that this is the kind of toothpaste that's in a packaging of an ointment. So you have to puncture it with the other end of the cap to open it. Small details like that I thought was kind of unique. Actually, I'm going to open this and let you know how it smells because I think that's important when it comes to hand cream. The inside looks like this. And you can see that the background of the label is like mimicking Portuguese tiles. So I can see why this is a good souvenir. So you just pop it like this. Let's see. Oh, it has a very gentle floral yet fresh scent. I like that. It's very mild and great consistency as well. Not too filmy, but not thick like Aquaphor or anything like that. Yeah, I just feel like, just for the packaging alone and the fact that you bought this in Portugal, it's so pleasant and, like I said, a great gift to bring back. Now let's move to fashion. I tried to do some research on Portuguese brands and I didn't come across too many. I did go into some of the shops, but they were mostly menswear. And one of those menswear that also had women's, but I ended up purchasing it, is called Emanta. And I think it's a pretty big Portuguese brand because I came across like two different stores when we were walking around. I love hats. I'm a big hat person, but I'm also very picky with hats because not every hat looks good on me. I'm not one of those people who can pull off any hat. So I tried this on. I've never tried on a style like this before, and it actually looked kind of cute. Obviously, I would never wear it with this. I would style it differently. But as a big-headed girly, I'm always looking for hats that actually fit my head and that make my head look smaller. And I think this achieved that because of the volume. And I really like the flat cap. So I can't wait to style this in the wintertime. One thing I noticed when I was walking around Portugal was that there were a lot of little boutiques. And these boutiques sold really cute clothes that were affordable. They're probably not made in Portugal, they were probably imported. But regardless, it was a really good way to understand what the Portuguese women like to wear. And from what I've seen, at least going in May, it was a lot of feminine flowy dresses that are full of color. This one particular shop that I went to, it was honestly on a day trip from Porto to Guimarães. We took a train, and from the train station to the city center, we had to walk down this path. And on that path, I stumbled across this store. Typically, a lot of the boutiques that I'd seen had like neon yellow, neon blue, very bright and summery floral patterns. That wasn't really my style, so I wasn't going into many of them. But this one's color palette was all neutral. I was like, okay, well, I gotta go in. And I found this beautiful set. This is a tank top and a maxi skirt set that is 70% cotton and 30% linen. I kind of beelined for this because immediately I loved the pattern and the color palette. I've been looking for sets, and their sets are everywhere these days, but a lot of them look too pajama-y. The problem with that style for me is that if I don't wear the exact matching set, I always look like I'm wearing pajama pants, and I don't like that. I like sets that are versatile that I can mix and match. And I didn't honestly try these on because I just knew that they would fit me perfectly. And the waist was elasticated. So I'm like, sold. I thought it was going to be 45 euros per piece. And I went to the till and it ended up being 45 euros for both pieces, which is insane. Their credit card system was down. So the only way I could pay was with cash, which thank goodness I had cash. So she actually ended up giving me a discount for 40 euros. So I got this set for 40 euros, which I think was a bargain. I like that this is summery, modest enough to wear it to the office. And I think this top would look good with denim as well. So I'm really excited about that one. This is the kind of purchase that gives me energy because, it's not something you can buy online. It's not from a place that a lot of people know about. That shop was definitely not serving tourists. It was serving the women of that small town. And I feel really lucky to have stumbled across it and have purchased something. Now, when in Europe, I have to check out the Spanish brands. I lived in Spain for 2 years. I think Spanish fashion is incredible. And as you know, even like big stores like Zara, Mango, they're all Spanish. In particular, I like going to Zara Home because, first of all, where I live, there is no Zara Home physical store, so you can't see all the stuff. And Zara Home in the US is so much more expensive than Zara Home in Europe. This particular Zara Home that I went to in Lisbon was in a building that literally took up 4 stories. It honestly looked like a Restoration Hardware. The entire top floor was Zara Homes. It was beautifully decorated with Zara furniture. I would have bought so much kitchen stuff had it not been for the fact that I had to fly home. But one thing I always keep an eye out for is Zara Home clothes. They have the most beautiful pajamas, beautiful robes, beautiful loungewear that in the States, at least, is overpriced. They hike up the price. I don't know why, but in Spain, it's affordable. Or in Europe, it's affordable. So I got this set. It's a 97% cotton and 3% elastane set. Creamy white pants and long sleeve to go with. This to me is like my essential loungewear when I come home from work and I want to take off my jeans, but I don't want to get in pajamas yet. I know I'm going to live in this. And I think each piece was only like 20 euros. Another thing is, I don't even think I saw this in the US website. And that's another thing too. They just have less stuff. So not only are you paying more, you just don't have as many options. So even though Zara, you might think, okay, Zara, I have that at home. Why would I go in Europe? It's worth checking out at least Zara Home, in my opinion. Last but not least, I had heard about this new up-and-coming Spanish brand called Nude Project that wasn't around when I was in Spain, at least. And I think they're mostly known for their cherry bag, but it's like kind of like a streetwear brand. They have really fun prints, really good t-shirts, and I wanted to check them out in person, and they happen to have a location in Lisbon. I went into it just out of curiosity more than anything because it's not necessarily my style, but I still love going to stores to, understand the brand, touch the fabric, and see what the hype is all about. And I found these pants that I loved immediately. They're unisex, and I bought them in size small, and they fit me perfectly. I think they only come in small, medium, and large. Maybe not. But what I liked about them is that they're really lightweight, like cotton, so they're kind of beachy. The stripes have detail of these like interesting stitching that makes it almost look floral, which I thought was the kind of detail that I love. This belt came with it, and it hangs with the Nude Project logo printed on it, and the back pocket has this patchwork for their brand as well. These are the small details that made these pants like immediately yes for me. I think they were around like 90 something euros, but you could get tax free if you bring your passport. So that's what I did. They're quite summery. They're so comfortable. And I just know that I'm going to get a lot of wear out of this pair of pants. All right, that's it for me. I hope you got some inspiration for your Portugal trip. If you have one planned already, or if you're just thinking about it, honestly, I had a great time shopping there, amongst all the other things. But in particular, I'm really happy with the purchases I made. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time.